Hey everybody, Lady Cheryl here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I hope you'll like and learn something in this video and that you will subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you will know when my videos first come out. On May 26th, I applied some shade cloth to the majority of my garden. The shade cloth is 40%, and I knew that triple-digit temperatures will be coming soon because I've been gardening in the same zip code for a very long time, and I didn't want to wait till the last minute. On June 8th, I applied even more 40% shade cloth to my garden because the sun was burning my plants up. And I'm showing you right there where I left openings so that the pollinators can come in on every side so that, anything that needed to be pollinated, like cucumbers and squash and other fruit, could be pollinated. This worked out really well because I'm going to show you how this safety precaution kept my garden cooler and how I was able to keep everything from burning up. I purchased the shade cloth from Amazon. I always keep an eye out for things that are on sale. So I bought it before the summer because my experience, has taught me everything goes up when you need it. And I want you to see that even my flowers, I had to keep them shaded because when you have a temperature of 104 degrees with a heat index of 107, it's hard for anything to survive. I also want to let you know that I also use solar powered fans and rechargeable non-electrical fans to keep everything being circulated with air while it was under the shade cloth. And I deeply watered every day unless we got rain, and that was very seldom. Guys, it is Wednesday, August the 20th, and it is raining outside. I want to show you that I came out, and you can see right there I put diatomaceous earth on plants like the okra that I saw a lot of grasshopper bites, and I took the shade down as much as I could. The shade cloths, I couldn't get over there because it started raining, but I'm sure I killed a lot of insects, non-beneficial ones, because the sun didn't come out for the butterflies and the bees yet, and now the rain is going to wash it away. Okay, I just want to share that with you. And I should have said the reason why I'm taking the shade cloth off now is because I looked at the 2-week forecast for my area, and we're not supposed to have any temperatures above 98, so I don't need the shades at this time. Okay, guys, it's just barely drizzling now, so I came out to inspect the garden and to make sure that the diatomaceous earth has been rinsed away because I don't want to kill any beneficial insects, and it would lose its ability to act as a insect killer once it gets wet. And right there, I'm just showing you the previous damage from the grasshoppers. I know it's grasshoppers because I've seen a lot of them. But everything is looking pretty good. Right over there in that little bag, that's compost. I pulled out some dead plants, but everything is going pretty good. The 2 25-gallon containers with all of those vines, those are sweet potatoes. And right now I'm showing you the Minnesota midget cantaloupe vines are doing what I thought and knew they would do. They're climbing up the trellis. And then I'm just showing you what we still have growing. A lot of bell peppers, jalapeno peppers, a few flowers that can tolerate real high temperatures. I still have some of the strawberry clowns that I'm rooting from the mother plant. And I've got a lot of the tomato plants I put out here that I started the seeds in my room. There's one, and there's another one right there. And here is the, sugar baby watermelons. I just lost the flower. I'm going to have to hand pollinate them if the bees don't come back, but I'm sure they will. And we have still some peppers over here, and there's another little seedling of the sugar baby watermelons. That's a tomato plant. Those two right there. Actually, it's 3 that I started up in my room when it was 100 and something degrees outside. We still have a lot of flowers growing. Only the heat tolerant ones survive. There's another tomato plant and another one over here. And my son-in-law and Brian is going to remove this shade cloth because it's too dangerous for me to be getting up on that ledge to take it down. In fact, my children told me I better not be climbing up there again. And I love the fact that they're looking after me. Right here, you're looking at the rainbow Swiss chard that I grew when it was triple-digit temperatures. It's going to take off now when the weather gets a little bit cooler. We're still going to have some hot days, but it's not going to be nothing like what we just went through. So I just want to mention that the echinacea, or some people call them coneflowers, and the begonias can handle a lot of heat during, the worst or hottest part of the summer. But you have to be very careful about letting them get direct sunlight in that real high temperature. That's why I put the shade cloths up, or they will be burned up too. But they'll come back next year. Okay, guys, it is August 21st. It is 91 degrees. The sun is getting ready to go down. It wasn't that hot today. Well, at least for us in Garden Zone 8A, Mesquite, Texas, it was only 98. But I want to show you that my son-in-law blessed me by taking down the shade cloth all around here for me because I couldn't get up on that ledge. And so now you can see everything that I got growing. I have a couple of trellises that I'm going to move. That's sugar baby watermelon right there. I'm going to put those 2 trellises next to the 4 over there. And then the 2 right here, I'm going to move them on the end and grow my climbing food like cantaloupe, watermelon, squash, what have you, on those trellises away from the walking path. But I'm going to pan around slowly. I'll start right here. And then I'll just try to pan around slowly, let you see what's happening. I'm gonna walk over here to the corner where the green stalks have a lot of onions and garlic and flowers in it. And I'm gonna put some more marigolds there. And in the days to come, right by the greenhouse, I'm gonna start bringing my seedlings in my room outside here and let them harden off. And I noticed something when I was watering over here. I see a couple of cantaloupes, the Minnesota midget cantaloupes. One here. I saw a couple of them. I'll be bringing it to you guys in the days ahead. Oh, here's one right here. Still real blurry for some reason. It's a good thing that I removed the shade cloth over here when I did to let the pollinators in. Now, the next part of this video, I'm going to show you my favorite fertilizer that's free. Brian and I are starting the beginning of our comfrey fertilizer. I have it growing in a pod. Now, in my food forest, I had it growing everywhere so that it was in the ground. But over here, I don't have that luxury. So I am going to let it ferment for a very long time. As you can see, Brian started taking off some of the leaves right here, and he's gonna fill this one up as well. So that's my comfrey. I'm gonna let it ferment. In our real high temperatures, this water is going to evaporate in the containers. So I'm going to keep adding water, and the longer it ferments, the stronger it's going to be. See how dark and rich it is? And I'm just going to take my little rake, and I'm telling you guys, it has almost disintegrated. Can you see that? I'm going to put this into the compost. And here is the other container. Put that in the compost. I think it's just a little bit more. And now, all I've got to do is I'm going to dilute it 10 parts rainwater and 1 part compost, and give all of my plants a little bit. I just poured a little bit in there, stirred it up real good. And then you just give all of your plants a little bit. So I'll start right here with this fairly young okra plant. And I'm just gonna give it a little bit. And see, I'll just do that to all of my plants. Now I know you all don't wanna watch me doing all of that, but let me share a few things with you. It is Friday, August 22nd. It's 92 degrees out here, so I can't stay out here too long. But I want to come in here and show you a part of the garden that was covered with the shade cloth like a tent. And I couldn't really film in here. So I just want to show you, this is where my apple tree is. And I have one of the tomato plants that I grew upstairs. And here's an okra. All of this was grown from seed. And here is my asparagus that's going to come back every year. It's turned into ferns now, so I got to cut it back. The 2 rose bushes over there and a knockout rose here. And you can see some plants in the hanging baskets. More strawberries that I am propagating. And over here, pepper plants that I've been growing from seed since the first of the year. And I think I'm gonna have to harvest these sweet potatoes pretty soon. They didn't produce flowers, but I have 3 25-gallon buckets and they're dying back and vining at the same time. And since they were grown from store-bought sweet potatoes, I don't know what I'm gonna get, but I'll show you in another video. The corn is doing good all over here. And so let me just back up a little bit and show you, give you an idea of what I couldn't pan through and show you previously because it had so much shade in here. But this is a nice little space. And as you can see, we're gonna have okra for days. And I got okra over there as well. Let me go in closer over there. And so basically that's what I want to show you. I wanted to tell you that you can't grow the Russian blocking 14 comfrey from seeds. You have to grow it from a cutting. There it is right there. It's going to come back. My daughter and I are talking about moving it to the front yard where I can put it in the ground so that it can get more nutrients. But I'm very proud of my tomato plants that I grew for the fall. There's 1, 2. I probably showed you already in the video. There's another one right over in here. And here's one. Here's another one. There's another one. And there's another one. And I was able to hold on to, let's see, where did it go? A tomato plant. Oh, here it is. Those are more sweet potatoes up there. But it looks like this plant's gonna die. As you can see from this photograph, this tomato plant was started by seed in December of last year. And my experience told me that these plants just can't handle this hot weather. So that's why I just choose to not stress myself out about it and just start more tomato seeds in the house and bring them out for the fall and early winter. Because I still got 100 growing days, guys, before the next freeze is expected. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I appreciate all of you all sticking by me through this heat wave because it's been very hard on my body. And right now I got to get out of this sun. Next week, the weather is going to start cooling down. I am so happy about it that we've made it, wow, through those hard temperatures. And you can see some of my seedlings that I started this month are doing pretty good. We have more up here and some over here. I shared them with you in my last video. But anyway, I'm going to start bringing these outside to get them acclimated to the temperatures outside. But right now I have a fan on them. And of course, you guys know that I use grow lights. I want to say thank you for watching. You know I love you and God loves you too. Bye now.